Okay, we're live. Well, hi guys, it's Nick again, and I've got Ben Fitzpatrick with me to have a bit of a catch up and a chat. Do you want to say hi, Ben?
Hey guys, it's Ben. I'm actually not a reseller. I've just taken Monty hostage and said the only way that the hills are getting back is if I get a live hangout with Nick. So here we are.
Oh my God. You wouldn't,
No.
you wouldn't recognise him anyway. Have you seen the recent pictures of him?
Yeah, he looks like this little skinny thing. Where's all his fur gone? What have you done to the guy?
Oh, I was so shocked when I saw him. But yeah, it's all good. So how have you been anyway? We haven't really had a catch up. So I haven't caught up with your sales roundup, so I don't know how you've been doing. I assume you've been selling well.
Yeah, really well. But up until the past Thursday and Friday were really bad for one reason or another. It was like the slowest days that I've had in probably since I ever started reselling. I sold nothing Thursday, nothing Friday, and nothing Saturday morning. And I was getting really concerned. I was like getting my phone. What's going on? Where's the ka-chings? Nothing's happening. But yeah, I don't know why. For one reason or another, it just must have been one of those things. But then come like Sunday and today, things have really picked up again. And I've had some pretty nice sales. So yeah, thankfully things have picked up. It's one of those things where the more you list, you keep putting stuff on, you'll get sales eventually. So I just did that. I just listed, and I got a couple of ka-chings come through. So yeah, picks up now, and I'm hoping I think maybe it's the payday thing because people didn't get paid until like the end of the month, and you always get that slump at the end of the month. So I think that's what it was. I think that I hit that slump, and I just kind of hit it pretty hard last month.
Yeah, it's been similar for a few people. I mean, my sales are pretty low anyway, but that's more to do with volume that isn't listed, if you see what I mean. But yeah, I know a few other people that have had really rocky sales recently, so I wouldn't worry about it. So how's your Lego? I wanted to ask and question you about all that Lego. That video was awesome when you showed all those models that you built up. Yeah. Have you sold a lot of that yet? Is it all listed?
Okay, so it's all listed. I've probably sold about 3/4 of it now, something like that. Yeah, a lot of it shifted. Well, the thing was, a lot of it shifted really quick. And when I say really quick, I mean within hours. And I instantly thought, I've undersold all of this. I've completely screwed myself over, and I've just undersold it all. But going through sold and completed listings, they were top end. And with some of the sets, I even set the new top end. So I couldn't really complain, but it's just always concerning. Whenever you list an item and it sells within 12 hours, you instantly think, yeah, I've undersold that. Brilliant. But, you know, when I had time to sit back and look through, they weren't undersold. They just sold quick. I think people do have save searches set up. And when something that they've got hits, you know, they'll buy it.
I was going to say that with Lego, you're selling to a voracious market, and there are people queuing up waiting for this stuff. I mean, you had some really good trains. When I've had train stuff in the past, you put it on, it's gone, like you say, within hours. Even if you set your bar really high, it's all about the quality. And you had mostly complete stuff, wasn't it? Because you bought the extra bits to complete sets, so people just wet themselves with that stuff. So.
Yeah, that was a nightmare. In fact, the worst thing about that whole process that I did was buying the missing parts. I completely underestimated that. I knew that I was in over my head, if you like, actually building it, but I saw that through to the end. But when it came to actually buying the missing parts, that was the headache, because I thought I had a good process in place. I've got little post-it notes on each set. I stuck all the parts that I was missing. Well, I wrote down all the parts I was missing, stuck it to each set. But when I got the parts and put them to the sets, there were still pieces missing. So then I had to go back and buy more parts, which meant more postage, because each time you buy something, you have to pay postage. I probably spent about £70 on postage just for these missing parts. That was really, and in the end, I just went onto eBay and just started buying the parts off eBay, just at the ridiculous prices, just for the ease of getting the part like next day delivery, because some of the sets I'd had listed before I'd realised that I had missing parts, and I thought, I panicked that if that sold and I didn't have the part in, that there'd be a delay in getting it out the door. And so I just wanted the part, and I was fed up with it to the point of where I was paying like, you know, £3 per brick just to get it in my hands and put it with the set.
Nightmare. So I'm interested because it was fascinating for me watching you do that, because as I'm sure you're aware, I used to be a Lego specialist, and I've done very similar projects to that. Would you do it differently? Because watching you, I was thinking back to when I did it, and I found the smaller, less valuable sets, I didn't find it worth the time to sift through and find all the bits for a set that was worth, say, 20 quid or 10 quid or whatever. The big ones, the time paid off. Did you find, if you were to do all that again, would you have built everything? Or just
no, I wouldn't build everything. This was like my first ever massive Lego project, and I got into the mindset very quickly of, if there's an instruction manual, I'm building it regardless. I didn't research the value of the sets until I had them built and ready to list. So I was completely blind. If it had an instruction manual, I built it, and then once they were all built, I researched the value of the sets. And yeah, some of them weren't really worth my time. Some of them were $9.99 sets, so I wouldn't have be doing those again. But yeah, that would be definitely something I'd do next time. If I get a pickup like that with a load of instruction manuals, I'll go through the instruction manuals first, get the Lego numbers, research them, and get post-it notes, stick it on the instruction manual, you know, $29.99, $5, whatever it may be, and then I can work out whether it's worth building that set or not. Because yeah, some of them are just really not worth the time.
You naturally come to that conclusion, because if I'd have spoken to you beforehand, that's exactly what I would have said. Go through your manuals, do your research up front, and it saves yourself a lot of, not wasted time, but time you could have spent better on other stuff. But yeah, it's fascinating watching.
Yeah, so if I was interested to know, so if you picked up that set that I got, so say, you know, the tables are turned and you got that pickup, how would you have sorted it now? Because I know you got the shop and you're focused on Amazon a lot. How would you have sorted that?
I don't know. I mean, right now, I probably, depending on what the price was, how much did you pay for it all? I can't remember.
Well, I paid $200 for the actual pickup, but then I spent like another £200 on parts, but the pickup was $200.
Yeah, I'd bought that any day, to be honest, even though I don't probably have the time. I would have seen, as you did, the value in that. I mean, how many, you getting, what, a couple of thousand back on it, or how much?
I worked it out that if I would have got what I've asked for, after fees and postage and what have you, my initial investment, I'd be looking at about $1,450. I think so far I've made about $985.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I would have struggled to resist it, regardless of the fact that it would have sat in a corner forever with me at the moment. But yeah.
So you would have built it up, or you would have, how would you have decided as one? Would you have split it into parts?
I would imagine that I would have gone through the manuals and found the expensive stuff like that. You had some really nice vintage space stuff, didn't you? And the trains, I would have almost certainly tried to build up, because they can be worth silly money. And I don't know, it's really hard to say without seeing it firsthand. But yeah, I would have probably built less than you did for sure. And then I don't know, did you have many figs with it? Were there lots of minifigs as well?
Yeah, once I sorted out all of the minifigs that went to their appropriate sets, there were quite a few minifigs left over. There was a load of, I bundled them, so there was a load of medieval ones. I did them as one lot, you know, like castle themed. There was a load of space guys, so I've done them as one lot. And then I think there was a bundle of pirate figures. I did them as one lot, and then just one bundle of randomers. So yeah, I'll probably say there was about 60 minifigs, just like randomers, just left over.
Yeah, I used to do, way back when, I used to do minifigures, just random ones, unless they were, like you say, knights ones. I'd lot up pirates, and there were other themes as well. But just random figures, I'd do 10 for a tenner and have a permanent listing running. So you get 10 random figures, and we'd sell out of that listing all the time. And we'd do 5 for a £5 as well, but it was better off. It made more sense doing 10 for a tenner. Yeah. But yeah, I saw your Playmobil epic pickup as well. It's amazing to me that you're managing to source this stuff. Was that eBay you found that one?
The Playmobil, that was eBay. Yeah, that was just right time, right place. Though, as it is all like that. But the guy had just listed 2 sets. He put 2 sets up, and I noticed them. So I messaged him directly and just said, "I'm interested in your 2 sets. Would you have a bite now price if I came and collected? Because I only live around the corner." And he says, "Yeah, that would, that sounds good." But then at that point, he said, "Look, I've got about another 30 sets here that I'm going to be listing over the weekend." So, that's like a reseller's wet dream, hearing that, knowing that they're not listed, knowing that you've got his attention. I said, "Yeah, I'm really interested." I said, "Can you send me over a list of everything you've got?" And he gave me the list, the breakdown, which was perfect, because at that point I could to go onto eBay and put all the numbers in and do little figures and kind of work out what's worth what and what I can pay for it. And I mean, he said like he wanted 300, I think, for the lot, which was, I wasn't really comfortable paying that. Obviously, I wanted to get it as cheap as possible, but I didn't want to insult him with an absolute lowball offer and then him end up listing it all, because there was a lot of money there. And I eventually got it all for 200 when I picked it all up, and I paid him £200 cash on collection. It was about 35 minutes away. So yeah, I got it all back. Yeah. And I've just about sorted all that.
Did you find they were complete, or are they missing lots of stuff, or how was it sold? Were they sold as complete?
Yeah, okay, it all went on there, but I kind of got away from doing what sets they were in. The dinosaur sets were complete, and I've done them as one lot. But a lot of the sets, they weren't complete. But I find with Playmobil, it doesn't really matter, as long as you can just kind of make your own themed lots, and people can see what they've got to play with and what they don't really care whether it's a Playmobil 5130 set complete or not. As long as they can see accessories and they can see something to play with, they don't care.
Yeah. Did you see that video I threw up? I think it might have been yesterday. I put a video up because I bought nowhere near as good as that pickup. You see, I bought a massive bag full in a charity shop for 25.
Yeah.
And I sorted that about 20 different lots and just made it up. There were no complete sets, and I was just making themed lots, and I sold probably 90% of that already. There wasn't massive money in it. I think I did do the figures in the video. I think it was about 140
150, something like that, you said?
Like that, I think. And I've still got a job lot of part buildings and bases and all sorts of other stuff that I'm going to do as a bundle sometime. So yeah, even it was in really bad state. It was just piled in a bag, couldn't see what I was getting, and took a punt at 25. But with Playmobil, like you say, just make up your own lots, lay them out, make them look pretty, and people love it. People really go for it. So
yeah, I mean, I had a lot of trust in the guy anyway, because I went onto his completed and sold listings, and just before Christmas, he must have had like a mini Playmobil clear out as well, because he sold about 9 items before Christmas, and one of them was this huge house. It wasn't the Victoria one. It's one I've never seen before. It was a big house, but it's like a modern. It was like a modern house. I've never seen it before, but he sold that for about £170. And I saw the pictures that he put up, and they were really. He took his time with his pictures, and you could see that this guy's a trustworthy guy. He took good condition like of his Playmobil, and I think he was a collector. He said it was like his kids and stuff, but I don't think it was. I think he collected that stuff. And I felt like saying to him at the time, look, if it's yours, just say it. We all, if you could see my room, we all could collect stuff. I'm one of you. All right, I'm one of you.
It did seem unusual that all the boxes were there, or pretty much all the boxes were there, and the boxes were in good nick. It didn't look like kids had their hands on it, did it?
Yeah, no, and when I was going through it all, everything is all bagged in the boxes and stuff. It was in really good condition. He was a collector for sure, but I don't know why he said that it was for his kids. Maybe he just thought he'd get some bad press from the guy who's coming to collect it, but I didn't say anything about it.
Yeah. No, that was a fantastic pickup. I think because you're Birmingham way, aren't you? You're in Birmingham, yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the benefits of being in a city is just sheer numbers. You're going to get more local pickups. I struggle a bit with that because I'm not exactly out in the sticks, but Hitchin, where I am, is a pretty small little town, and I don't find that many good deals to pick up locally. Whereas if I was in London, you've just got a massive population of people. I think you stand more chance of finding those one-off deals there, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. That's a fair call. I've never even thought about that before, but definitely, I mean, being in the Midlands, I've got like a perimeter on my thing of like 10 miles around my house, and it's quite a large area. When you see it on the app, there's quite a lot of places. I mean, there's all of Coventry and all of Wolverhampton. It's quite a large area that it covers. And yeah, mate, that is why. I mean, I just think it's right place, right time kind of thing, which you have got to be. I mean, especially with Lego is so cutthroat. If somebody puts like a Lego item on eBay, like a big lot, if you're not contacting that person within the first 30 minutes, that's gone. That's how hot you've got to be with a Lego, because that's gone out of control lately. Like even at the boot sales, like when I was over there the weekend, Lego's become the new thing. Like as soon as cars pulling in, it's Lego. Have you got any Lego? Consoles and jewelry used to, first it was jewelry, then it went through consoles, now it's Lego. And if anybody's got any Lego, it's outrageous. I mean, you just got to stand back and let it happen. Even if you want it yourself, it's just a feeding frenzy.
Yeah, I've seen that. When we started full-time on eBay and we went out, I'd regularly find vintage sets and space Lego and all this stuff. you know, not even at the beginning of a boot sale, we'd find it, you know, all the way through, and even at the end, there'd still be Lego about. Whereas you're right, these days it's gone. You know,
Yeah, them days are over.
if any reseller sees it, they at least ask the price, and 9 times out of 10 buy it anyway. So yeah, it's tricky. And when we were doing nothing but Lego and buying in bulk, we found the big competition for, say, 10 kilos, because it's within everyone's price range. So you get massive competition over anything sort of 5 kilos, 10 kilos, 15. So we'd be going for like the big collections, like thousands of pounds worth, like 100. I think 100 kilos was the biggest pickup we ever had. And we drove to Dudley to pick that up. And because then you're only competing against a few other resellers with a lot of cash in their pockets.
Yeah, for sure.
There. But yeah, that was fun. And at that point, I had a camper van, and we drove my camper van up to pick it up, and we barely got it all in, because they had it all in great big boxes, and he had a lot of part-built sets that he hadn't broken down, so it's quite bulky, and we barely got it in the bloody camper van. It was amazing.
It's like a Lego take on Breaking Bad.
Yeah. It was,
Poison pills.
but it was so overwhelming. When we did that, you ended up with so much volume. It's like, where the hell do I start? And it was really overwhelming to sort that level of stuff. I mean, you probably found that with that last pickup. It's kind of like, it's just a mind screw, isn't it? Where do you begin and how do you begin?
Yeah, and this is something that's thrown me as well. But how, like, with usually with reselling, like with an item, it's pretty, you know, this is how you list it, and this is what you sell it for. This is how you research it. But Lego is like one of the only things where you decide how much profit you want to make effectively. So, and then there's so many different ways of sorting it. But then so many people have got such strong views on those different ways that some people just won't touch it. Like, if they were gonna, but they want to pick it up because there's obvious money in it. Everyone knows that, but they just want to get shot of it ASAP. And I suppose it's just the way you think. I'm naturally thinking like you're literally just like throwing away money there. But then they could say to me, "Well, you're throwing away time." And then there's that balance of, it's insane. Like, at what point is your level? You know, just, it boggles me. It really does boggle me.
I've got to give a shout out to Zahir, who's probably watching right now, because Zahir is exactly the sort of person you just described, who knows there's money in Lego, but it's like a nightmare to sort for him. I think it's partly horses for courses. You, similarly to me, I think we're geeky and we love toys and we love sorting all that stuff out. So there's a certain amount of pleasure in that. And I don't think you'd have sat and built all of those if there wasn't an element of pleasure in it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I enjoy it. But there is also, I've fallen foul of spending way too much time on stuff. And then when you look back and you think how much time it took me to sort, wasn't worth the effort. So there is a balance, and I think you have to experiment with where that balance is. But yeah, it's definitely something that certain people will just buy a few kilos and turn it over as kilos. And I think that's fine if you can make a margin on that, but there is a lot more money in it. I need to do another sales roundup, actually. I've had some great Lego sales recently. I sold some, just yesterday, a load of little Knights weapons, like a little bundle of weapons, spread them out on the tabletop, took a picture, and that was 15 quid. And it was about 15 grams of Lego. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, see, I didn't go right down to the extremes that you've gone to with each part, but with that, like, I think the furthest way I went of breaking it down was I did like a load of white vintage picket fences. I did some trees, because I know you had a pretty good so you did something similar with all the Lego trees and palm trees and stuff like that. So I did a listing like that. And doors and windows. I did doors and windows, and I think that's as far as I went. That's kind of like as far as I went down to separating it out. Yeah.
These days, because time is a pressure for me, I think I did have a load of sorted Lego that I went through a few months back that was already sorted. So it's kind of like the investment in time was done. So it seemed a waste of time for me to unsort it. So I listed it all. But going forward, I don't think I'd break much down below a tenner. So I might do a bundle and make it big enough of windows and doors so it's a tenner, or maybe a fiver, I don't know. But yeah, I would think that the larger broken down bundles, if that makes sense, is the way forward for me right now. But I found another crate actually of pre-sorted Lego at home in the old office that I forgot about. So I'm going to list a load more soon, hopefully.
Stop hoarding Lego, Nick.
I'm not meaning to. I'm just a disorganized person. I've got stuff everywhere.
You
So,
don't want to
yeah,
sell it. That's what it is. You don't want to sell it. You know it's there. You know full well it's there. You just want to keep it there just to so you've got some Lego.
a little bit, maybe. I'll tell you what I do have that I have got listed but hasn't sold. I don't know if you've seen this. I don't think I heard it in the video, actually. Is this, which is Lego set number 10.
Oh, wow.
From 1960 or maybe earlier, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I reckon this is a one of a kind.
Have you got that listed?
Yeah, it's cellophane sealed. I had it
Wow.
listed at something stupid like 300 quid. Had loads and loads of watches and quite a few offers, but nobody bought it. So I've dropped it. And I think it's on at about 200 now.
Wow.
But that's like a museum piece, isn't it? It's mad.
Yeah, the value in Lego is insane. I mean, even like the modern sets, the newer sets that are coming out, the larger ones, the prices are absolutely crazy that they sell for. And then if they're a limited run, because I'm looking at some myself, I'm looking at the Death Star. I can't remember the actual set number off the top of my head, but that, I mean, the price on that seal, it's about £500-600. But the real kicker is before, well, October time when I was looking at them originally, they were about $350. But ever since The Force Awakens come out, skyrocketed.
Yeah. But there's a lot of people who invest in Lego and just play the kind of futures market, if you like. They just buy it, stick it in their loft, wait for it to be discontinued, and then, you know, sell it on from there. Especially with Star Wars and the new Avengers stuff and all of that. With the like exclusive figures, there's a big market in sets with exclusive figures. I think that makes quite a difference.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got a couple of, I've got one set. Hold that thought.
Yep.
Check this bad boy out.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Is that one you bought for yourself then?
Yeah, well, actually, funnily, my girlfriend bought me this for Valentine's Day. She knows me so well. So yeah, this is.
What figures are you getting there?
Can you see that?
Oh, okay. Oh, almost. If you say something, then it'll switch to you.
Okay. There's Stans, Spengler, Venkman. 1, 2, 3, 8. There's about 12 figures in total. Don't know whether you can see them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's sealed. I'm keeping that sealed. That's just something that I've got that I'm keeping here just because I thought it was awesome. I love the Ghostbusters. I grew up loving the Ghostbusters. My favourite film. I had all the figures growing up. And then when they brought this out, I had to have it. It was Lego, it's Ghostbusters. It combines my two great things that I love. So I picked that up. Well, my girlfriend got that for me. But I won't be selling that. That's going to be staying with me for a while.
Are you not going to open it up and build it?
No.
I'd struggle to keep that sealed if I was keeping it.
Yeah, and then just to complete the set, I got the car as well.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I think they've gone up in value a lot, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at them. I was looking at them to buy myself, and I think the last time I checked, they're about $44.99 just for Ecto 1.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that police state. I think the firehouse. It's about 400.
Bloody hell.
Insane. But yeah, I love Ghostbusters and I love Lego, so that was just a must for me.
Yeah, that's so cool. So just looking at your background there, are you still looking out for stuff? Are you still trying to invest in your collection, or are you? Because I think last time we spoke, you were pretty much there with it, weren't you?
Yeah, I am. I've gotten everything that I wanted to get. I mean, when I was starting to put it together, I had a set what that I wanted. I had a list in my head of everything that I wanted, and I've near enough got all of that. There is more that I'd like, but to be honest with you, it's room. I just haven't got the room. I really haven't. Okay. Like I was, funny enough, I was speaking to Tom, the English picker, earlier today about this because he's getting into his game and he's starting to put together quite a nice collection himself. And we were talking about that, all of the different colours of the Game Boys. Like I'd love to have all of the colours. I think there's 5 colours with the Game Boy colours, and I've got the yellow, but I'd love to get all of the other 4 colours, but I just haven't got the room. And the same with the N64s, the fantastic colours. there's a smoke grey and the orange. I'd love all of those, but I just haven't got the room, and I don't want it to get. I'm really big on my presentation for myself, and I just don't want the whole room to look overcrowded and just horrible. I like everything to have a place, and
yeah, I think right. A collection, if you're going to display it, you don't want too much because it detracts from the overall look of it.
Yeah.
If it's rammed with stuff, you can't really see it in a way. But I did have the clear blue N64.
Oh,
how is it? I've got one somewhere.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're pretty cool. And there was, I think the rare one is orange, isn't it? Isn't there an orange one that's really hard to get?
Yeah, Tom's got the orange one.
Wow.
Yeah.
I noticed Tom's videos when he shows his nice gaming pickups, he's kind of like, I might be keeping this, and I might be keeping this. You must have a big collection. He didn't show me when I was up at Tom's. He didn't show me his gaming collection, but yeah, he must have quite one. I don't really collect gaming at all now. It's odd, but not even Game and Watches, which is what started the whole thing for me. I don't even have any of those. Well, my wife does. My wife has her original Snoopy tennis. Have you ever seen Snoopy tennis on a Game and Watch?
No.
That's the only one we have, because that's her original one from the 80s. So she won't let me get rid of that. Not that I want to, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't even have a gaming collection. It's quite sad, really. I did have on my Nintendo Wii, I bought up a load of the download games. So I had all of the classic SNES stuff, but I don't even have that anymore.
Yeah. See, Tom, he got a really nice pickup. I think he said he got it from the boot sale. It's basically a Nintendo Wii, and it's got like SNES games on there, NES games on there. It's been like hacked or cracked or something. Mega Drive games on there. It's got all these different games from different platforms on the one console. I think that's really smart. It's perfect to have as your setup, like just in your living room, because you've got one console with all of these games on instead of having like 10 consoles plugged up, because the older ones can be a bit of a nightmare with all the plugs, and they're quite clunky, and it's save you having to get them all out. I think having something like that would be awesome, and I'm looking at getting one of them myself.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can do it through the Wii, can't you, with the Virtual Console, because you just buy them through the Nintendo store, which is what I did. And then I did pick up a Wii, actually, that had an epic collection on it that had been bought through the, what did I just call it? The, mine's just gone back. The Nintendo store. But I sold it as a Wii with a vintage collection on, and I didn't get masses. I had to come down a bit. I think I got 100 for it. But yeah, it's worth, if you do pick up a Wii, firing it up and just seeing what software's on it, because that sometimes has more value than the console itself.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm looking at getting one of those. I think it's really smart just to have, instead of having loads of console setup, you just got one, and you can keep it minimalistic and modern and smart.
Yeah. I see behind you. Is that a mini Wii behind you?
Yeah. I got that from I got that from Tesco when they were. Do you remember ages ago? This is probably about 9 months ago, when Tesco were just clearing their consoles for absolutely silly money. It was all over Hot UK Deals.
No, I probably missed that then.
Yeah, there was the Xboxes, all different kinds of Xboxes they were clearing, like with the ones with like the FIFAs and the Star Wars ones. They were just clearing them for silly money, and I'm pretty sure that those were going for $24.99 each. Wow. Yeah, I got two. I kept one, and then I resold one on eBay. I mean, the controllers alone are worth that. The Red Motion Plus ones.
Yep.
But yeah, so I got it from Tesco, but I didn't intentionally want that. That wasn't going to be part of it, but I got two, and I thought, well, I might as well keep one if I've got two, and I just sold the one, and that I got my money, £25 back with a bit of profit, and I got a free Wii Mini, so win-win.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Do you follow CJR? I think we mentioned him last time. Do you follow his channel?
Yeah, I mean, my channel is moulded around CJR.
Yeah, I thought so. His methodology is very, very similar in that he buys those who are watching this and don't know is a YouTube channel called CJR. I'll try and remember to put a link below because I follow it and Ben does. It's an interesting chap. He's in Canada and he has a basement which is huge, and he has built up a retro gaming collection and a current gen collection that is just unbelievable. You have to go and check it out. But he funds his gaming habit by going to garage sales in Canada. Because he knows his gaming and he knows what's worth money, he buys stuff for his collection, but he also buys stuff to flip for money to fund buying the stuff. you know, to fill the gaps in his collection. And yeah, it's a fascinating channel.
Yeah, this guy was basically the reason that I got into reselling. I don't know how I came across his one of his videos. This was before I got into reselling, before I even knew what reselling was. I came across his channel just because I love gaming stuff. It must have been something related like that. I came across his room tour and it blew my mind. It really is something to watch. If you haven't watched it, definitely watch it, because if you love gaming at all, you're going to be all over it. It's an entire basement, like Nick said, an entire basement filled with gaming stuff. And he's got like an entire Dreamcast collection now, every game, every accessory. It's just epic. And I came across that and then I wanted it. So, you know, that's what I said, I wanted it. So first question was, how does he afford all of that stuff? Because he's got a, you know, mortgage to pay just like anyone else. And then that's when he got into his garage sale things. And that's how he finds his his collection like that. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go to the boot sales. I've gone to boot sales all my life, never to pick up to resell, but it's just been, you know, part of my family. We've always gone to boot sales. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go to the boot sales and I'm going to do what he does. I'm going to find these consoles, this collection, and I'm going to put it together. And it became very quick, you know, that there wasn't any consoles like that available, because I was getting to these boot sales at like 9 o'clock. I wasn't going to expect to walk around, in hindsight, and find an N64 box, you know, at 9:30 in the morning. And then I thought, well, I went onto YouTube, and then I kind of asked myself the question, first of all, does it even exist? Can you find N64s at boot sales? Does it, you know, is that a thing, or am I just kind of like exaggerating it? And then I came across yours and Joe's videos where I think like the word GameCube must have been a hit. Yeah. And I came across your videos, and then, yeah, you had picked them up. So that was my first question answered, that you could find these things. So that was all I wanted to know. And then I went out, but I couldn't find them because I was still getting to the boot sales at like 9 o'clock. So I came back to the videos, and then I saw all this other stuff that you were picking up. And when you started talking about the money you were going to get for it, I thought, well, hold on, I do see a lot of that. And then it clicked. Well, hold on, I can buy that, sell it on eBay and get the money, and then buy what I want. So that's what I did. And now, yeah, this is where I am now. So yeah, everything you see here, but this is all funded through reselling. I mean, well, 95% of it is all like reselling, which is just absolutely insane. I haven't had to touch really my full-time wages to pay for any of this, because to be honest with you, I couldn't afford it, you know. So, you know, it's been an absolute dream come true to be able to put something like this together, all because of, you know, just reselling, watching videos, just, you know, learning and just enjoying it. Yeah.
So how are you gonna? What's your sort of plan moving forward? I assume, because you're throwing a lot of energy into it, it's something you're going to keep up now. And what are you saving towards something now, or you're just doing it for pleasure almost, or what's the plan?
No, I mean, it's been something I've been thinking about for a while, but I did mention it on the SAS show, but I am planning on going part-time with my full-time job.
Yeah.
So I will be going part-time, not yet, because the real sucker was, I spoke about this, was at the time, literally within the same week of deciding, yes, first things first, I wanted to get, because I've got quite a lot of debt on my credit cards. I whacked thousands of pounds on tattoos when I was like 19, just on my credit card, just because that's what stupid kids do. So first things first, I wanted to get all of that cleared before I go and part-time. And then if stuff went bad with reselling, I wouldn't want to be panicking, thinking I'm going to get the credit card companies after me. So I decided that once I get my credit cards paid, I'm going to go part-time. That was my plan. I decided on it and I was comfortable with it. Literally within that same week, I get called into the office and the manager says, Ben, we're looking at giving you a promotion. And I was really mixed, because I thought, excellent, you know, this is great news. I'm doing something right and they want to give me more money. But on the other hand, as soon as I left, I thought, well, I want to go part-time, don't I? So what do? Do I take the promotion and continue doing it part-time, but, you know, work slightly longer hours? Or do I continue with the reselling road, and do I go part-time at work and continue doing this and put more time and effort into this because it's something I enjoy? So that was a real decision maker for about a week. I landed on the side of going with the reselling. I went back in and I said, look, I can't take the promotion because I don't want to waste your time. Within, you know, next couple of maybe a year or so, I'm looking at going part-time, and I don't want to mess you around, basically, because I need to keep them on side. I need them to say, yes, you can go part-time. We will accept that. If I was going to like mess them around and take on a job and then within a couple of months say, yeah, I'm going part-time now, guys, they're going to be like, well, no, that wasn't what you signed up for. So I had to keep them on side. So that's what my plan is. Yeah, I reckon it'll probably take about a year or so. But that is my plan. I'll go part-time, and they know about it now, which is excellent. They said it shouldn't be a problem. So I've got that on my side. So yeah, hopefully within about a year or so, I'll go part-time. I'll be working Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I get Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off. So to me, that's like a 4-day weekend, because I don't see reselling as a job. It's something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy doing it much more than my full-time, my actual job. So it's not even, my weekends are cramped. I don't have a social life. Nick. Like, my weekends, Saturday are like charity shops all day. And then Sunday are car boots. And then Sunday afternoon, I'm taking pictures and listing. And that's it. The only time I really get to myself and my girlfriend is like Saturday night and Sunday evening. And I'm cool with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. And I don't even see that as a busy weekend, because I've just enjoyed the whole thing. Like with the YouTube videos as well, I just love doing it. It's all reselling related. I love talking about it. So it's not even, it's like something I enjoy doing. I'm getting paid to do something I enjoy, and it's excellent.
Yeah. I wonder if that would change if you ever did like just do reselling, and then it becomes almost, your full-time job, as it is with me, because it does make a subtle difference. Because like you say, I enjoy what I do, but there's also the pressure that I have to make X amount of numbers between this and the shop and Amazon, etc. So I wonder if the fact that you're going to still be part-time in your job and this is separate to it, will keep it perhaps more alive and exciting for you that way.
Yeah, I've worked it out I couldn't go, just to put that out there, I could never go full time. I don't know how you do it. The pressure would absolutely eat me alive, knowing that I've got, a mortgage to pay and car to pay. I couldn't do it. But part time, I've worked it out that what I get part time from my full time job would be enough to cover my mortgage, all my bills basically. My job will cover all my bills. So what I make from reselling would have to go back into stock and, play money, cinema, food, money like that. And that's at that level I'm comfortable with. But I could personally I couldn't do full time. It's just that'd be too pressure. I mean, myself, I've been walking around car boots and I've had really bad days, and I start building up anxiety. Just I'm getting nothing. This is terrible. This is, and then I suddenly just say to myself, relax. This isn't your main thing. Your bills are paid.
Yeah.
And I just kind of have to say, because I start panicking, thinking I've got nothing. I've got 3 Jacqueline Wilson books for 2 hours worth of sauce and a car boot.
It has though, and it can be quite daunting if you've, like you say, wandered around for a couple of hours and you look in your bag or your trolley or whatever, and you think, at best, I've got 30 quid's worth of stuff. You think,
I spent 4 quid on a bacon butty.
And I've discussed this with other resellers sometimes. The fact that, I've got a big backlog of stock, and I'm always trying to catch up and get to the point where I've got everything listed and not much in stock. That's kind of like nirvana. But I think there is maybe a subconscious thing that I like having X amount of thousands of pounds worth of stock not listed, because I know if the shit hits the fan, I can pull a few all-nighters and get a load of stuff listed. You know what I mean? I've got that security blanket of a load of stock at home in the old office, a lot full of stuff. So yeah, it can be daunting, I would imagine, especially if you're running on a kind of system where you get everything listed every week and turn it over. If you have a few bad weeks of sourcing, where does the money come from? So
exactly. That'd be like my worst nightmare. And at that point, that's when I'd start to hate it. Well, not hate it, but you'd be feeling the pressure from it, and you wouldn't enjoy it. That's the word I'm looking for. You wouldn't enjoy it. And at that point, that'd just be horrible. But I kind of I did a similar thing last year to what you're saying. I mean, I didn't list any books last year or CDs. I just kept them until the car boot season was over. And then I pulled out all of the books and then I listed them just to keep me ticking over. I mean, I was still going to, there was a couple of car boots I was going to, and there was still the charity shops, but just those books kept me ticking along. I said, I haven't even got around to the CDs yet. I'll probably save that until, when the boot sales finish this season. But I did do something similar to that. I just pulled them all away, and then I just listed them when the sales were all over.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's quite stressful for us financially right now, because for whatever reasons we decided, as you know, to get back into retail. So we've had one of those years, as you described, it's been touch and go financially, because all of our outgoings come from reselling, whether it be our high street enterprise here or eBay. And yeah, we have to make ends meet, and we've got no other income to do it. And because we've invested so much of our money and our kind of savings in the shop, that's all tied up. It's been stressful. So yeah, you're right. It's not an easy route at all. And I've put that out there many times, but if people are considering going full time, what you just described, having a part-time job that keeps that sense of security, and then doing reselling part-time, which you thoroughly enjoy and get all that pleasure out of, I think is a perfect scenario. I wouldn't necessarily say going full-time, is everyone's ideal. That shouldn't be everybody's goal, I don't think. It suits certain people, and it suited me, certainly. But also what you have to remember is, because we did so well with our gaming shop, which we had for 8 years, that paid off our mortgage. So I have a certain amount of freedom to experiment and to have bad couple of months and be okay. But yeah, reselling as a full-time proposition it's possible, but I wouldn't say jump in, with both feet without at least trialing it part-time for, a good 6 months to a year, certainly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even if for one reason or another I did decide to go full-time now, I don't think I would be able to. I don't think I'll be able to. I'm not at that level of going out and being out. I wouldn't be able to source the amount of stock that I need to live a life on full-time reselling. And there's so many different avenues that I haven't explored yet. Clothing for one, antiques. I don't think I'll ever be able to get into antiques, to be honest. I think that's a whole different thing itself. But, as a generalist reseller, you kind of want to explore as many avenues as you can, and it's just such a mind boggle, because that's the really frustrating thing when you go to car boots and you're walking around. There's hundreds of pounds of potential everywhere, but you just can't see it because you're not educated enough. And that's the frustrating thing, and that's the thing that would really bother me as a full-time reseller, is that the money's there but I can't see it. As a part-timer, I can cope with it because I can just look at the things. I've tried so hard to find things that are out of my comfort zone, but I just can't do it. Like I saw Caroline, she picked up a load of Paul Smith stuff in the last pickup video. I passed up on a load of Paul Smith stuff the weekend because I didn't know who the guy was. It really frustrates me, especially when you see pickup videos of people picking up the stuff that you've passed up on. That really, it's horrible.
I don't know. I kind of see that. I suppose because I've been doing it for that long, I almost see that as a positive as well, because I know there's avenues I can take, and what I do evolves all the time. I go through phases. There's my staple stuff, but I go through phases of doing stuff. I went not last year, the year before, I was all about the CDs and DVDs. I was all over that. And it's not that I don't do that anymore, but my passion more now is books. I've got totally into books, like sci-fi stuff. I've got another massive haul of sci-fi I've got to sort out. And yeah, I don't know, it just evolves. And that's what keeps it interesting as well. So yeah, I don't know. Clothing is another thing that Andrea is more into. But the money in that, you're right, is amazing. That, talking about Caroline, I think she sold that belt for 30. I'm sure I saw in one of our chats that she sold that already.
That Paul Smith
pound,
you paid £1.
Yeah.
There you go. So I would just instantly dismiss that. It's offended me. Get away. It's not what I'm looking for. But to get like £30, and that's quick. I mean, she only got it the weekend. So you're talking like what, a couple of days, and she sold it for £30. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that one. I saw a message, but yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I find, and you were saying about getting out of your comfort zone as well and doing antiques. When I chat to Ken, I say similar things. I say, Ken, where'd you get all this knowledge from? Well, it's when I chatted to him, I said, have you got a history in antiques? Did you, where did you gain all the knowledge? And he's like, I just make it up as I go along. I just learn it as I go. It's you've just got to be brave enough to do it, I think. And Ken is fantastic at that. And also Ken's pricing. I chat to Ken quite a lot, and he gets something that is a one-of-a-kind thing. So he comes up with a price, let's say £100 for some Victorian machine that does something, right? And then he'll clean it up a bit, and he'll think, no, I'm going to do 150. And then he'll take some nice pictures, and then he'll say it's worth 200 now. And then when he writes the listing, let's go 250, and he just lists it, and it sells. And it's like he just makes up prices, Which,
To be fair though, I am a slightly guilty of, not to those extremes, but doing that myself. I take so much pride in my pictures. So when I'm doing my pickup videos and I'm saying, okay, yeah, I'll probably list this for 19.99. Once I've taken the pictures and wrote the description and looking at it, I'm thinking, you know what, that's nice. I've done good pictures there, and I'll maybe put like 23.99, not to the extremes of like 49.99, but I do put a couple of pound on just as a little pat on the back. Good picture, Ben. Nice pictures there. Have a couple of quid for your troubles.
yeah. Well, you're adding a certain amount of value by taking that time and care over listing it. I thoroughly believe that. I think 5 extra minutes of setting up a load of Lego or whatever it is adds that extra fibre. It really does. And I think there's some weird sort of mental thing with people. If you pitch yours 5 quid or maybe 10 quid above everyone else's, a certain proportion of society thinks that's the one I want, that expensive one. You know what I mean? There's something weird.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Yeah. But no, if you lay your pictures out, look, you know, I've got that from you. I mean, the way you lay your pictures out is really spot on. You know, you really can see everything you're going to get. There's nothing, you know, kind of overlapping anything. So you're thinking, what's that under there? It's all laid out really well. And yeah, you can ask the higher prices for that just because of your pictures. You know, just because of your pictures, which is something that every reseller is capable of, is just taking good pictures.
Yeah. Well, we've all seen the listings where someone has like a job lot of Playmobil or whatever, and it's just a heap, literally a heap, and they're taking a couple of pictures in a crappy darkened room, and you think, how do I know? And then the description is Playmobil bundle or something, like 2 words, and you think, how is anyone going to know what the hell they want? So you just want to keep in your mind, be as far away from that as you possibly can, and that's all I aim to do. And also, I think laying it all out and taking 6 pictures rather than 1 just means you don't have to describe it as much, because they can just look at the pictures.
I constantly say, look, in my listings, like, you know, please refer to the pictures, because they can say more about this than I ever can. You know, something along those lines, because they really do.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty with Playmobil, is that you kind of, you make your own sets, and the pictures will sell that set for you. You know, because as long as you lay it out right and you take good pictures, you don't have to rely on a set number or something to sell the set. You can just rely on the pictures that you've taken to be your seller for it. But I'll tell you what I do find though, what really bothers me about when I'm doing my Playmobil, especially with my own listings, is pricing it. Because you've made that set, it's your one of a kind set. Where do you price it? And that really flusters me. Is where do you price it? I mean, what do you refer it to? So like you put like, and I know you had that problem with you had that construction lot that you put together, and you felt that you could have sold it for more.
I think I got 20 quid for it, which for what was there was pretty good, I think. But I had no sort of bar to measure it against. I just obviously searched similar bundles and tried to find bundles that had sold. But I don't know how helpful that is sometimes, because most of the stuff you're looking at is sold on auction, which is kind of irrelevant, totally irrelevant to what we're doing on Buy It Now. So yeah, I don't know. When it's sold and I looked at the pictures again, something in my head said I could have got more for that. But again, I'm happy to turn it over quick as well. So, and a sale is a sale. I try not to regret selling anything. You know what I mean? Have that seller's remorse. But yeah, sometimes, like you said, I think you said, I did watch a sales roundup where you were saying so-and-so sold quick, and you had that feeling that you'd undersold it. And I do get that. But with Lego, I don't think that's the case. You were right when you said people have saved searches. And if they see what they want, these Lego buyers, they're going to buy it. And the price isn't the issue there. So I wouldn't worry too much with Lego.
Yeah, I tell you what though, with that Lego lot, like I said, I sold about 3/4 of it. I'll probably say about 70% of it has gone abroad. Look, near enough every one of those sales gone, like Belgium, Austria, all places like that, France. They're absolutely mad on it.
So is that going on the global shipping, or do you do that yourself?
Yeah, global shipping. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, because I've sold a fair bit of Lego, even the little tiny lots that I was doing. The classic one, I think I showed it in a video, was 3 snowflakes that sold to Russia or somewhere, and they paid, I think it was £10 or £11 shipping.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, they've actually just got really deep pockets, you know, to spend on Lego.
Yeah, it's nuts. So you've been reselling for, it's like a year and a half now, is it? Or
Yeah,
that sort of,
yeah, a year and a half.
yeah. So what would you say are the big things you've learned if people watching this are wanting to get involved or just starting out? If you could say to Ben a year and a half ago, don't do this, mate, or do something else, what would your advice be?
To start off with, just do exactly what I did, and that was just I watched everyone's videos. I went onto YouTube and literally just saved everybody, subscribed to everybody's channels who was doing anything reselling related, and I must have spent about 2 months just watching videos before I even went out to a boot sale, just to get into my head on what I need to find. And then I started on the really basic stuff, you know, board games, you know, stuff like that, stuff that you know you talked about, and stuff that other YouTubers talked about. Just really basic stuff that's got a quick turnover. Not necessarily you're going to make a load of money from it, but you're gonna get into the process of picking it up, listing it, taking the pictures, storing it, packaging it, taking it to the post office. Once you can get into that process and get like a routine going, then you can start branching out onto things that maybe you're interested in. You know, so there's some, like I've got a pretty good background with Games Workshop stuff. I'm yet to have any really decent pickups of it, but I know what I'm looking for when I can see it, so I can start branching out into that. You know, and then just use whatever knowledge you've got. You can start branching out and doing that. But I didn't have. I think it was because of that, because I've put so much time into watching everybody's videos, and not just the pickup videos, everything, you know, the sales roundups and the bolos. And then there wasn't that much that I could trip up on. As long as I played it safe to start with, there wasn't that much that I tripped up on. I didn't really have any big fails. Like I said, the one big fail I had was that Snow White box set. I picked up this Snow White VHS box set, really heavy, paid £4 for it. I sold it for £6, but I took it. See, this is another thing as well. I took it to the post office to post it, and it came out about £8 postage. I mean,
Yeah.
so that killed me. Just killed me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd say
that in the early days. When I very first started selling on Amazon, I remember selling a Harry Potter book, one of the big chunky ones, and we paid money to sell that because the postage was so much on it, and we just hadn't worked out the figures then. But we only did that once, and as long as you're only making that mistake once, it's fine. I think everyone has to make that mistake, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, like I played it safe. I mean, I know it's like a boring game to play it safe, but it's making money, and as long as you can stay in profit and get like things turning around quick, and it builds your morale as well, knowing that you can go out, you're buying things and you're selling it, and it's, you know, it is selling. You are getting those ka-chings. It's getting you thinking, yeah, you know, this is working. You know, this is actually working. And then once you build your morale up and you become more experienced, then you can start doing different things and maybe experimenting on different things, like picking up off Gumtree, picking up off Amazon, Facebook groups. Because, you know, I think the general gist is that boot sales are the go-to place, which is true. I mean, they are. But to be honest with you, I've probably had more success. I don't know whether I'd say more success, but a lot of success picking up off eBay and Gumtree. My Lego pickup was off there. The Playmobil pickup was off there. I got all those vinyls off eBay. I picked them up for £20. I sold them 2 days later for £225. So I'd say my best pickups have been off eBay and Gumtree, and so it's not all about the boot sales. I mean, I know that I think you and Sahir said in one of your reselling chats a while ago that you could get to the point of where you could just be a reseller as far as picking up off eBay and Gumtree and not have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to boot sales, because you're getting sufficient stock from these other places. And I can see that, you know, when you first think about it, you think, no, you can't source off eBay to sell on eBay constantly. But I can see it, you know, it could be done. Yeah,
there's people that do it, and I've moved away from that. I don't know. I think my head's just elsewhere these days. I don't have time to be scouring eBay. But yeah, I mean, particularly with job lots. Well, you're a perfect example with the Lego and Playmobil stuff. If you can pick those up, especially if it's collection only and it's local to you, you're not fighting against tens of thousands of people. It's only going to be a few people in your area that are considering buying it. So you can sometimes get amazing deals. And yeah, I think I need to get back into that actually. But yeah, I think there's huge potential with that. I've never had any joy with Gumtree. Around here, Gumtree hasn't really taken off. I don't know. I've had a few nice pickups on Facebook, but not big job lots, just small things. Like I had a coffee maker for £10 that I sold for 50, I think. That sort of stuff, just on local Facebook groups. But yeah, there's potential. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Gumtree's really hit and miss. I think Gumtree as a whole is really hit and miss, because the thing that really frustrates me is when people sell something, they don't remove the listing. They just keep it active, and then you see obviously a bargain price, and you message them, and then you don't hear anything back. But
Yeah.
your hopes are still kind of up there, and you're checking your messages to see if you've heard anything back. That's the thing that frustrates me on Gumtree. When it sells, it should just get pulled. Just take it down. It shouldn't really be up to the seller to take that down. I think there should be some kind of process in place where once the sale's decided, it should just get removed, because that really frustrates me. There's so many good deals that I've seen on Gumtree that I've just been too late on. But you don't want to know that you're too late, because it's a kick in the nuts.
Yeah. It's like walking around a boot sale and you see an N64 with a sold sticker on it or something. It's the equivalent of that. It'd be like, ah!
Yeah, I mean, like yesterday at the boot sale, I got into my boot sale, like the earliest I've ever got into my boot sale yesterday, because I found a new way to get in. I don't have to queue. And I kind of got there at the same time as the full-time resellers. I know, at your boot sales, other resellers. And I was there, and I never get at my boot sales at fighting time, when the cars are coming in. I never get there at that point. I get there just as they've pulled in. And because I'm a part-timer, I just generally stroll around, it's not business for me. Do you know what I mean? I can do it at my leisure. I can get something to eat. I pick up these things, and I have fun with it. But these people were there for business, and I've never got there at business time, and it was gloves off. It was and the thing that really frustrates me is you see what they're getting. Like, it's too late because it's in their trolleys and stuff, but you're looking, and the amount of Nerf guns I was seeing, and some guy got an absolutely huge Lego score. I mean, this tub that he got was absolutely huge, like this, and he knew it. He was so smug about it. He didn't take it back to his car. He was just stood there with it, practically like with his foot on it, like, like an accomplishment, just like, and it was insane.
Yeah, I've seen it all. I try not to look. You know what I mean? You see someone with stuff under their arm, and you catch it out of the corner of your eye, and I just try not to look, because it can just throw your whole mood if you see someone walking off with it. Oh.
Yeah, it completely messed me up, because like I said, I've never gotten there at that time before, and it completely threw me. I've thought about going home. I thought, well, it's gone. This guy's got it. That guy's got it. He's got it. This is my stuff. But
that's been my top tip when people ask me, how do you get this stuff? I say, get there early, because I don't think people, like you've just described, people don't realise that goes on. If you stroll up to a boot sale half hour after it's open, the dealers are at the next boot sale. All the stuff has gone with them. And people say, some people have actually said to me, I don't see how you can find all that stuff at boot sales. It doesn't exist. And I'm like, when do you get there? Because the stuff that I pick up, well, not all of it, but the good stuff I pick up and the stuff you're looking for, when it hits the table, it goes. You know what I mean? Rarely, well, there are exceptions, and I've said also hang around till the end, because stuff appears, and some stuff you've got to rummage for, but most of the good stuff disappears as soon as the dealer sets eyes on it. So yeah, it's like night and day being at a boot sale at the beginning and being there half hour, an hour later.
Yeah, it was a completely, I mean, like I said, I've been going to boot sales all my life, but that was just completely alien to me, which, I can understand how it is, because they are full-time. That's their job. You know what I mean? Yeah. They need that. So I could understand it, but it was so cutthroat. I mean, I hate it. This is a pet hate of car boots. I hate it when you see people diving into people's boots.
Yeah.
It bugs me, and it makes me cringe, and I don't even look myself. I can't be dealing with it, especially when you see it's like some young lady doing it on her own, and she just gets overwhelmed by all these men just jumping in a car. It's really cringe.
I know, it's painful to watch, because I'm not that pushy to be doing it, but I obviously, when a new stall's setting up, I'd like to see the stuff, and you just, like you say, you see them piling in, and it's pretty much harassment quite often. And yeah, it's awful. Quite often I will move on and just think, okay, I'll let you lot fight over that, and I'll go and move to another row or something. Yeah. And it usually pays off anyway. So yeah, I think that's a pet hate of many people.
Yeah.
And so, it's quite often, I mean, it's people will probably take this wrong, but round here we have a lot of Polish and Far Eastern, like Eastern Europeans, and it's not a racist thing, it's just their culture. I think they are very forward, and they are very, very demanding of people's attention, and they are forthright in what they say, and they're just in their face. You know what I mean? It's like the Polish guys and that. And God, there's haggling, and then there's Polish haggling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God, I just walk away when that's going on.
It's exactly the same at mine. Yeah, I get it's exactly the same kind of deal. But it's mainly like the clothing that I find that a lot of people around me like go for, which kind of works well because I mean, if once clothes get tipped out onto the floor, it's on. It is on. Like everyone just piles on these clothes, and I'm just like looking at it and thinking, obviously there probably is, you know. As I'm learning about clothes, I can see that there could be value in there, and most of the time there is probably like, you know, Ben Sherman shirts and things. But you know, all I'm thinking is that's a bunch of Primark stuff. You know, what are you doing? There's a car over there that's pulling in, and it's got a load of like Nerf guns hanging out the back window. So I'm gonna let you fight over your Primark clothes, and I'm gonna go get them guns.
Exactly. Well, we're going to wrap this up soon. But one other thing, I don't think I've asked you before. Your part, are you married? I don't know if you.
No, I'm not married. I'm with my girlfriend, but I'm not engaged or married.
Do you go sourcing together? I can't remember if I asked you this last time. Is she part of your reselling enterprise or not at all?
As far as sourcing goes, no. She doesn't come with me to the boot sales. She does come with me to the charity shops sometimes, but that's because I kind of cheekily incorporate it with a day out. I'll be like, oh, she'll just want to pop to the charity shops while we're here. Well, we're here anyway. So that's probably not her actually like intentionally wanting to come with me. But she puts up with it. She's a star, to be fair. And she, like, whenever I get home, I get into a process of going into like my garage and packing everything up. And she comes and helps me. She sticks all the stickers on. So, you know, and that side, behind the scenes, yeah, she's massively involved. But actually, as far as sourcing goes, no, she doesn't really like to get involved with all of that. But yeah, like I say, with like the packaging and stuff, she's a star. She helps me out with all of that, and she'll take it to my car while I'm continuing to package things up. So yeah, she does help out.
As long as you've got that support with it, because it can cause tensions. I mean, I'm lucky that Andrea works with me and she's into all of this and has been for years. So it still causes tensions because, you know, Sunday for me, I want to be out boot sailing, and quite often we have family commitments and stuff, and that's caused tensions over the years. But yeah, it's fantastic to have a partner that supports you, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, see, no, not at all. At no point. She jokes in the mornings when I have to get up and saying like, oh, why are you leaving? It's Sunday morning, you know, you should be staying in bed and having a lie-in. But she's never serious about it. I don't think she'd ever say, look, enough is enough. This is a joke hour to be going out on a Sunday. We had a busy day Saturday, for instance. Can you just have a lie-in? I don't think she'd ever say that. So, you know, it never even occurred to me that she could actually be like, you know, kind of like building a load of hatred up towards it, and it's just going to explode one day. I'm going to come in, everything's on fire in the garage, and she just burns everything.
Yeah. Have you found that because I've seen where you set up your garage and you've done a lot of work in there. Has that been a game changer? I'd imagine that's helped no end.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I used to hate being in there before. I used to hate any time I was in there. I used to hate because I used to package in there and I used to store everything in there. I just wanted to get in and out. But now I love it, and I can't get out of there. I spend more time in there photographing everything, because before I photographed everything just here, there, and everywhere around the house. But now I've got like actual lighting in there. I can, you know, I enjoy being in there, and I enjoy getting the pictures, and I got a little heater in there, so I'm cushy.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know how long we've been chatting. It's 7:15, so we've done over an hour, I think. So yeah. We wrap it up there, buddy.
Okay. I want to ask you one more thing.
Yeah, go for it.
When you're at your boot sales, do other resellers know who you are?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for so long, so there's faces that you know, that you see at every boot sale. It's obvious they're resellers. There's a handful who I talk to. I don't really hang around and chat to many people at boot sales because I'm in the zone, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's quite a few people that recognise me and I recognise them. So yeah.
But are they recognising you as a reseller that they know at the boot sale, or are they recognising you as Nick Hills from YouTube?
Oh, most don't know I do YouTube. At least I don't think so. I've had probably 5 or 6 people recognise me from YouTube at boot sales now, but mostly it's sellers. Well, no, about half and half. A few sellers, and then a few random people have walked up to me who were there buying and say, "I watch your videos," which has been disconcerting, because I then think, I've put all this knowledge in your head and you're at my boot sale, which can't be good. But that's how it is. And I said from the beginning, I know people have said to me, what are you doing? You're shooting yourself in the foot. But that I'm well aware that that might be the case. But yeah, I'm happy to take that risk.
There's more than enough out there. You know, you just because you're making videos, there's people know that this goes on. You know, there's more than enough. It's not as if the stock is going to run out and, you know, the boot sales are going to run out of things.
Yeah, and I've had so much back from the community that's built up around myself and the other YouTubers anyway. So, you know, what I might miss out on because someone's bought some Nerf guns that I told to pick up Nerf guns, I've had tips and hints on a whole other load of stuff that I can pick up elsewhere, if you see what I mean. Have you been recognised since doing videos yourself?
No, I haven't, which is, I'm pretty thankful of that, I suppose, in a way, because it would really freak me out. The first thing I'd do, if someone came up and said, "Oh, Ben," I'd be thinking, where do I know you from? And then I'd be going through that, you know, when you're in that social experience where you're thinking, where do I know you from? Was it a party? Was it, you know, are you friends of the in-laws? Where are you from? And then you just, yeah. So I don't know, I'd be so awkward. I'm a pretty awkward guy anyway, so I'd just be like, you know, I'd just die.
Will happen because you're getting, you know, regularly 1,000+ hits on your videos, so it's gonna happen, and it's really weird, and you get that tiny insight into what it must be like to be like properly famous, and that must be a bloody nightmare. It's quite nice when it's one person now and again in a blue moon, you know, it makes you feel quite cool, but imagine going everywhere and everyone knows you and you don't know them. That would be a personal nightmare.
Yeah, I'll tell you which was weird though. The other day, it was last weekend, we went out for my friend's birthday, and there was a group of us got together. We don't really see each other that often. We see each other every couple of weeks, every 2 months or so. And we were sat down, and my friend's like girlfriend was sat across the table, and I know I grew up with her, and she was just looking at me, and she's like, "I love your YouTube videos," and I was like, "Whoa, well, you watch my videos?" And she's like, "Yeah, I always watch them." And I was like, "I didn't know that you did that at all. Like, that was really weird." And she started talking to me about that, and that was really really weird. And then in the taxi ride home, I was with like my other friend, and she was like, "Yeah, she you know, every time you upload, she's there watching you. I'm in the living room, and all I can hear is your voice from the other side of the living room." And so I think that's as weird as it got for me. Like, you know, my friends actually watching my videos. Do your friends watch yours?
They all know I do it, and I find that weird, just as you described. When if it's somebody like friends and family that watch my videos, if I talk to them about it, I get quite embarrassed about it. I find that really awkward because I know them and I can imagine them watching me on telly. The fact that thousands of strangers watch me, I'm perfectly comfortable with. Wow. Ironically, but yeah, the fact that friends and family tell me they watch, or "Oh, I saw your video the other week about so and so," I get quite embarrassed about it, which is odd.
Yeah, it is a weird one.
Anyway, right, we'll wrap it up there. I need to go and get some food, buddy. So cool. That was fun.
Yeah, loved it.
Okay, cool. We'll have to do this again sometime. I've started, you may have seen if you watched the chat with Zahir, and to people watching this, every Thursday I'm going to try and get a regular Thursday chat slot going. This was just a one-off kind of Tuesday thing to catch up with Ben. So we've been trying to arrange this for about a month now. Wow. But yeah, so we'll be doing regular Thursday ones. So, you know, a few months down the line, you'll have to come in on a Thursday chat and we'll catch up again.
Yeah, love to. Sounds awesome.
Fantastic. Oh, well, good luck with your reselling, and I'll speak to you soon, mate.
Cheers, mate, and you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.